Okay, hello everyone. So today's video we are going to be talking about Hecate and another goddess called Melinoe. And this is part of an ongoing series I have on the channel. If you're new, or if you're not new and weren't aware, I have got a playlist called Hecate and ... The playlist has come about because of Hecate. She wants me to illustrate how interconnected she is with a lot of different beings, goddesses, gods, spirits, and so on. Because if you're not new to the channel, you may know that she has shared with me things about herself, that she is more than meets the eye. She is a creator. She's shown herself to me as a dragon in that regard. And when I say dragon, I don't mean, scaly friend kind of thing. I mean power, I mean knowledge, I mean something beyond words. I've got videos about that. Go have a look if you're interested. They are on the channel. But this one is talking about Hecate's connection with the goddess Melinoe. Now, if you are into video games, you may know who Melinoe is. I believe she's in Hades, the game. I haven't actually played the second one. I know Hecate is in it too. I just don't get time to play games. Nothing wrong with playing games though. You do you. But she is much more than what that portrays her as, okay? So let's get into it. Let's talk about it already, okay? If you're new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. I'm Sarah, that divination witch. The channel is a witchy community and safe space, meaning you can ask questions and share opinions and you don't have to agree. That's absolutely fine, but we just keep it civil. We don't tolerate crap. So if you want to join, hit subscribe. And if you want to support me and the channel, all of the links are in the description below. I'd be grateful if you could take a look. I do offer lots of different readings. I've also got Patreon. I'm teaching a lot on there. Been teaching about tarot, Hecate, magic, going through a path working. I also do readings on there too. So yeah, go check it out. Thanks. So with the Greek myths in general, I mean, first let me just say Hecate is way beyond just a Greek myth, okay? That's why we're doing this series. She is just mind-blowing. She's just a name for the divine feminine, and that's why this series has come about, because you don't have to believe the way I do, of course not. But even if you just see it as how interconnected these different cultures are, ideas of divinity is, all of that jazz, even if you just see it that way, that's my job done, because she wants me to do this, okay? But when it comes to the Greek myths about Hecate and Melinoe, well, Melinoe is sometimes said to be an epithet of Hecate. If you don't know what an epithet is, an epithet is, I suppose, a mask, a different side to a deity. Now, this day and age, it's a bit more complicated because we are so interconnected and we've got access to information about so many different cultures and time points in history that a lot of people are piecing things together in a similar way as me doing this and say that deities are masks of each other. But in ancient times, regardless of the culture, most deities had different sides to them because they were fulfilling lots of different roles. And the Greeks, or the Hellenic Greeks specifically, were very known for this. So were the Romans, Norse gods, Kemetic gods. Wow, they're so complex, So it means, so essentially you could ask Hecate to help you with protecting your home. You would call on a certain side of her for that. You could ask her to help you with sorcery or necromancy. It's a certain side of her, which probably Melinoe was one of those sides, which I'll get into. Or you could ask her, to assist you in childbirth or protect children, or options are endless. It wasn't just, I am a god of love, Even Aphrodite has a million epithets, She wasn't just goddess of love. She was goddess of everything as well. it's just so complex, you know. Even though you have the main role they may fill, there's different sides to them. And that even goes for those deities that are titans, like Hecate. And the titans are, generally speaking, personifications of something. For example, one that pops to my mind is Helios, the personification of the sun. But yet he was also a god of magic. So they also fulfilled other roles too. And this was how it was, because the world wasn't as interconnected. You know, it was connected, don't get me wrong, but they didn't have Google or the ancient Hellenic version of Google. They had their intuition, their local knowledge, and what they felt was right for them. I mean, I doubt that an ancient Greek person would have known all the different epithets either, or different ways to worship their deities, because it depends where you were from as well and what your family did. And there were so many different cults as well. That's where we get the word cult worship. There was different ways of doing things, and it's so complex. Now, I'm no historian. I'm coming at this from a spiritual point of view, okay? But that's just to give you some background context. So with that being the case, Melinoe is sometimes known as an aspect of Hecate, and I'm here to explain why that is, how and why they're so interconnected. She is also known as a goddess in her own right, and depending on the mythology, and that springs from the way she was understood and worshipped as well, it depends on how she may come across. So she is known as a daughter of Persephone. If you don't know who that is, Persephone in a nutshell is the queen of the underworld and of springtime. She is Kore, she is wife of Hades, daughter of Demeter. So Melinoe is said to be one of Persephone's children, usually Hades and Persephone, but there are myths where it's Zeus and Persephone. Now Zeus, he is a trickster in his own way, and the main myth of Zeus and Persephone comes from Orphic, I can't say it right, Orphicism, I can't say it right. It's the teachings where the Orphic hymns come from, okay? And Zeus essentially pretended to be Hades. And she had Melinoe on the back of it, Persephone did. And Melinoe, regardless of her parentage, is said to be the goddess of ghosts, of the dead, of necromancy, of hauntings, of madness. She's a spooky lady, and she is said to rule over basically the restless dead. Now, if you know anything about Hecate, then you will know she's said to rule over the restless dead, and not just in her Melinoe aspect. It's one of her common roles, okay, as a goddess, because she is a goddess of the liminal space between life and death. She wants to help lost souls, both living and dead ones. She gets people to where they need to be, so it is said that she will guide the dead. She's a psychopomp. Melinoe is often said to be a psychopomp as well. She's linked with other deities like Hermes too in that role, and compared with them. Melinoe, the difference between just being like a psychopomp and something more, it is said she's a bit more vengeful. She is linked with the Furies as well, in that regard, like her attitude, because she rules over things like hauntings. It's really like, can be this harsh sort of energy. She doesn't rule over peaceful death or peaceful spirits. It is those that are not just lost, but I personally feel more vengeful kind of thing. Hecate again has many sides to her and can rule over that too. Of course she can. But I feel like Melinoe's a bit more specific, okay? Now, given that they're both linked with the Orphic hymns and Orphicism, I don't know if I'm saying that word right, but those teachings, that's another commonality that they have. But in the hymns, famously Hecate's Orphic hymn, Saffron Veiled Array, that's a line I love from the hymn. And what that means is she meaning Hecate, is dressed in a saffron robe, which is like an orangey red colour. It's kind of like a colour of sacred things, and my intuition says it is linked with funerary rites as well. I do know from Roman times, if the Greeks are any similar, but poppies were very much a flower that was said. Well, that's complex, I suppose, because opium comes from that and it's psychedelic and things like that, but poppies were used in funerary rites as well. In Melinoe's Orphic hymn, she is said to be clad in saffron. So again, it's linking the two goddesses in something so simple, but also with depth and meaning, you know? Like they are both there for the dead, essentially, and as potentially a guide to the dead. Now, obviously, Hecate is a goddess of witchcraft and sorcery, and she is found in many sources, you know, to say that over the years, not just in modern times. So if you look up the PGM, the Greek Magical Papyri, her name is mentioned in that a lot, of course, but not just her name, but many others. She is on many other teachings too. That's just one example. Now, Melinoe is linked with magic too. There is a bronze tablet used to invoke her, kind of like an amulet, as like a protection spell. Now, on this particular spell, I'll try remember to put a picture on the screen referencing it. She is one of 3 goddesses on it, and to me that suggests some sort of triple goddess aspect. Now, again, I am no historian, but obviously Hecate, triple goddess, and not just in the modern context, not that maiden mother crone stuff. Hecate triformers, Hecate of the 3 ways, Hecate looking into the past, present, future. Hecate is a triple goddess in that regard, but she has been linked with other deities like Demeter and Persephone, like Selene and Artemis as well. And it's not just those goddesses, like there are others. Like I remember looking into Hera before, and Hera is linked with triple goddess aspects too. Like a lot of the goddesses in especially Hellenic times have this triple aspect. Now, the number 3 is a divine number, the Trinity, throughout different cultures, and Christianity took that on, but it predated Christianity. 3 is indeed a synchronistic, magical number. And Melinoe, despite being this goddess of hauntings and ghosts and necromancy and stuff, she too is a triple goddess in that regard, and she too is linked with magic. I just found that very interesting. So that's their obvious links, okay? Energy-wise, look, Melinoe is part of Hecate, Hecate is part of Melinoe. And you could go as far as to say, look, it's not just them two, this is just the example. The way I am seeing it is that, well, they're all one and the same. You could say Persephone's part of that too. You could, you know, the options are endless here. But it's going to depend on you as a person as to what goddess or what aspect you need of Hecate or of Melinoe, and what you feel drawn to, okay? You can see them as completely separate, you can see them as linked, but that's the connection. And that's what she wanted me to illustrate in this particular video. So Hecate, Melinoe, separate but the same, linked in antiquity together, from the same pantheon at times and same teachings at times, but also so very different but so very similar at the same time. I don't think it really matters to an extent if we call on them as separate or the same. It's your belief, your path, and what you feel is right. But I hope this video has helped just illustrate that connection, which is what you wanted me to do. If you have any other goddesses, gods, whatever, that you want me to talk about, and maybe a connection with Hecate, whether you think there's one there or could just be totally random, put it in the comments below. Share your opinions, help each other out. I always encourage that. I'll put the playlist at the end of the video. Please check it out to listen about other goddesses from different cultures as well that I've talked about so far. There will be more to come. And yes, until next time, stay safe, stay witchy. Bye.